Supercell just dropped the most ridiculous tease in Brawl Stars history. We've got to break this down. What is up, guys? My name is Ark, and my brawls are quite simply the best of them all. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're not, and without further ado, let's get into it. So today, guys, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This image right here, I think it's that way, it's been like the biggest talking point so far throughout Brawl Stars history, in my opinion, and we need to break this down. So what better way to do that than to go through Twitter and Reddit and look at what the community thinks about what this image means. Now, before we check out other people's opinions, let me tell you what my first impressions of this were. And I have to be honest, my first thought when I saw this image was that they are killing Brawl Stars. The image itself, you know, it's that iconic thing of going off into the sunset. You know, the sun is setting on what has been a glorious day. We've all had some fun, we've all had some laughs, but it has to come to an end. That was my first impression, and I'll explain why I think that that is furthest from what this image actually means. Supercell are incredibly smart, guys. They are super smart, and they know exactly what they are doing. Trust me, guys, they are like the masters of marketing, and they know what this image will make us do, how it's going to make us react, and that is what they want. They want a reaction. That is the best way to stir people up, to make it a talking point, and they are very smart. This image is incredibly clever, and we'll break it down for a number of the reasons why it is so incredibly clever. Let's jump into Reddit, to Twitter, and see what you guys thought when you first saw this for yourselves. Okay, so this is the official Brawl Stars Twitter. Let's check out some of the comments. I love that. Straight off the bat, that is genius. There is some truth behind this idea that this image is a hint at global release. Let's look at some more comments. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Is this a global tease? Why do I feel like this is a global tease? That's a really good point. Matt, a good friend of mine, actually, I'll get back to Matt in just a moment, thinks that it's either global or 5v5. And I personally, like, now it's probably a good time to say that I agree. I think that this is a tease for 5v5. That is what I take away, having analyzed this image, and we'll go on to talk about what I've looked at as we go on. Chief Pat is kind of confused, kind of thinking about it. You know, what does that mean? Molt is taking it to mean the worst, okay? And to be fair, that was my first impression as well. That was my first impression. A lot of people think it means global. A lot of people think it means global. Global is near. What we can establish, or what I would take away from this image as being established, is that the characters are Spike, Colt, Shelly, Crow, and Poco. That image there is a really good indicator as to why that is the case. They look very close to those character outlines, in my opinion. But another really interesting thing about this image in particular is the fact that it implies they are walking towards us, not away from us. And that's kind of relevant. That's really important, actually. I've got to hand it to Supercell. The image is so cleverly made. Whoever did it did a fantastic job, because it looks as if they could be walking away or walking towards us. You know, both of which create an entirely different impression as to what we should take away from the image meaning. It's super smart. But from this, I would agree. I think it's personally Spike, Colt, Shelly, Crow, and Poco, and I believe they are walking towards us, not away from us. That is my take. Let's carry on scrolling through here. Claudio says, the sun is setting. Is it the end of Brawl Stars? Again, this is what I think Supercell want us to think. I do not honestly think that Supercell would announce the end of Brawl Stars in a tweet. It just doesn't feel right to me. It's not their style. Their style is to stir us up. You know, it's to stir us thinking, is it, isn't it? Remember, guys, it's been an entire year since the game started in beta. Over a year. It's like almost a year and 6 months now, pretty much. So, like, a lot of people wondering what this means. Some awesome memes that are accompanying this news. Someone says 5 new skins confirmed. I do not know whether I agree with this. I don't know whether I agree with this because, to me, it looked like there was... I think when there's new skins to a brawler, you can tell from the shadow. You know, you really can tell in the outline. And the only person that I would say has an outline which could potentially be a new skin is Poco. And my friend Matt, who's a great graphic designer, I'll talk more about Matt in just a moment, pointed this out to me, and I agree. If you look at Poco right there, like, there is something on the guitar which has been added in the shadow, which is not in the original Poco image. That to me says tuning pegs. On the guitar you have tuning pegs to change the tension of the strings, to make it flat or sharp, the notes flat or sharp. So that to me is a potential reskin for Poco. I do not feel like it's a new skin as such. I think these are reskins and potentially 5 completely reworked brawlers. That is actually what I think this image is all about. I think these brawlers have been actually completely reworked in their visual appearance. We've seen Mortis very recently being just completely taken up in the ranks of who is the best looking brawler. Controversially, we all know about the hat. Lex, we want it back. But, you know, there is something about that. The Brawl Stars team are obviously looking to bring these brawlers up in the quality and clarity of their visual appearances. So it would make sense to me that these brawlers are being reworked. Gotta hand it to the guy. I mean, the first image being global and then that one being delete. I mean, you know, these are awesome memes, guys. Fair play to Gabrielle. That's pretty funny. But, you know, that is another valid point. You know, what I noticed on Reddit, rather, I'll try and find the comment of the person that said it, was in the cowboy films, when there is this iconic scene of walking away into the sunset, it's the end of the film. It's the credits rolling. You know, it's not the beginning. It's not the start of the cowboy movies where this, you know, this iconic shot is taken and inspired from. So that is something on the side of things that might suggest the game is being axed. But again, I do not feel like Supercell... Some great memes from both the people that think the game is being scrapped and the people that think the game is going to be going towards a global launch. You know, in my opinion, they just would not announce this in a tweet. And as well for global, I don't think they would announce global is coming in a tweet. I think that if global is coming and it's going to happen 100%, Ryan will probably go on camera and record a video. It's been a year's worth of work, guys. You know, there's so much work that has gone into this game. It just feels a bit throwaway to put out a tweet. That's just my opinion. I think they'll announce it in a Brawl Talk or a special announcement video. You know, they want to talk about global and explain some stuff behind it. I think it's a global tease. I do not think global is coming in the near future. I just think it's a very clever tease. Skull Gamer YT says, well, I've worked out they're walking away from the sun. Now, I would agree. The question is the sun setting or is it rising? One comment that I read, I can't see it right now, was that could this be a night mode? You know, which it could well be. You know, if the sun is going down, it doesn't necessarily mean the sun is going down on Brawl Stars. It could just mean that the sun is setting on what we see visually in the game. Now, it would be super cool, and we have not got it yet, which would indicate that it could potentially mean this, that maybe we're going to get some kind of dark map, some kind of night map. That we've not had that in the game yet. That would be really interesting to see. Now, Emiliano says, I hope it's not 5v5. I can't agree with that, guys. I don't see why someone would not want to see a new game mode in Brawl Stars. I think 5v5 would be a really clever thing, but I think it's going to be very dependent on the maps. The maps are going to determine that game mode and how it plays out, in my opinion. But I think that it would be really interesting. I don't think they should go any more than 5v5. I'm not looking to play a battle royale game in Brawl Stars, but 5v5 would interest me a great deal. I really hope that this is a tease for 5v5. I hope it's a tease for reworked brawler skins. And I hope it's a tease for global. In the near future. I would say that the next update is going to be 5v5 game mode, reworked brawler skins, but Brawl Stars will probably release global later after that update. Let's hope prior to Christmas. That would be awesome. If we've got like an update dropping in the next week or so, which Supercell have done to us in the past, guys, they have dropped updates on us at the click of a button, like suddenly we've got a Brawl Talk. So that could happen, you know. We might have a new update in a week or two's time, after which a few bugs, you know, that might appear will be ironed out, and global might launch as a Christmas gift. How awesome would that be, guys? Okay, that was what Twitter had to say. Let's check out Reddit and see how it compares. Do people spot the same things on Twitter as they did on Reddit? It's been such a talking point, guys. Which just goes to show how cleverly done this image really was. Straight away, 5 brawlers for a new 5v5 game mode. That is the first impressions on Reddit. Someone highly doubts that, saying that Supercell said the game should be fast-paced and simple. 5v5 mode will completely change gameplay. I kind of agree, you know, simplicity is best, but I think that they wouldn't release such a game mode unless they had tested it thoroughly. Showdown already has 10 players, it's Battle Royale. I think 5v5 is a little different. To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think the coding would be particularly difficult. They have already got Showdown in place. It would probably simply be a case of just making it so that the matchmaking would separate 5 people on one side, 5 people on another side. The question that I have is that if this is 5v5, are the maps going to be the same that we already have currently in the Showdown game mode? Or are they going to be completely reworked for 5v5? How are the current maps going to translate into a 5v5 scenario? Let's carry on scrolling through. William Krause says they are coming, not going. Look at Colt's right foot. So let's just take a look at that. To me, that looks indeed like it is coming towards us, as if Colt is facing us and his right foot is coming down to hit the ground. But then again, I thought this earlier on today, if you look at Crow's foot there, it looks like that could be walking away. So again, it's a very, very cleverly designed image, guys. Really cleverly designed image. A lot of people thinking it's 5v5, hype 5v5. What if it's just a balancing list? Oof, can you imagine the troll if that is the case? It could be, guys. It could mean nothing. But, it could mean everything. Now, this is something that I definitely agree with. I do apologize, I can't read your name. Riddy CNSJCDJ. He says, kind of looks like the Android Tease poster. Also, why would they release a poster just to say the game is dying or being axed? They would just say it directly. This poster is for the next update, probably. I would tend to agree with that. I do not think that Brawl Stars and the team would release this information to say we're axing the game in an image. It just doesn't feel right to me. I would say global, maybe the 5v5, because Molt and Chief Pat both came back to playing the game recently. Game is shutting down. The brawlers are coming towards us and look happy. I don't know how you can tell they look happy, but yeah, Chief Pat and Molt have been playing and uploading recently. I don't think that that has much to do with any kind of connection to the image myself. I think that they are just like getting more excited that the game is potentially going to be going global and just trying it out from when they first played the game to see how much has changed, and a lot has changed, as we know. Spiral says, I want night mode, and to me, I agree, but I don't really know what night mode kind of means. You know, what does night mode mean to you? For me, it is like taking a map and giving it like a nighttime alternative. That would be really interesting to see. Is it likely to be the case? You know, I've got to think in Supercell's mind right now. You know, and is changing a map from daytime to nighttime a priority? Probably not. You know, probably not to them. I don't think that that is a priority. I just don't. I think that it is much more likely that they want to prioritize the look of the brawlers. 100%. They've shown that to us in the past. They've been reworking Jesse. Poker got a rework way back. El Primo got a rework way back. Most recently, Mortis. You know, there's a lot of reworks in the pipeline as far as I'm concerned, which would make more sense. And the shadowing is designed to hide that. I just don't think it indicates that the maps are going to be turned into nighttime, personally. But let's continue looking through. Dynamics says 5 new brawlers. I don't think so, bro. I think it's pretty clear that this is definitely a Spike, a Crow, a Colt, a Poco, and a... Did I say Crow? We already said earlier on who they are. I don't think it is any new brawlers in sight as far as I'm concerned. They look specifically to me like brawlers that we already have currently in the game. It must mean Global is coming, someone says there. I don't think it's a given. I don't think it's a given. I think it's a tease. I just think it's a tease. It could be new skins for each of those brawlers. Again, like I've already said, I don't think new skins. I think maybe a reworked skin is far more likely. That would be great. Hashtag love Brawl Stars. 100%. Showdown 10v10 confirmed. I don't think 10v10. I think that's too many brawlers. If they were going to do a 10v10, they would certainly need to rework and create a new map specifically for that game mode. It would just be far too hectic, far too clustered, and the Brawl Stars team like to keep things simple. So I don't think that that is the case. I think 5v5 is much more likely. Caramine says, I am so scared of this. I can relate. I can absolutely relate to this 100%. I would say don't be afraid, guys. I think this is the positive message that we are being given here. If anyone paid close attention to this, is the message I mentioned earlier. If anyone paid close attention to the cowboy movies, whenever the hero reaches this scene, the sun is setting, it's the end, not the beginning. If it's coming or going, so sadly this means the end, or just 5 people teaming. Some truth behind this from Facecracker, absolutely. Like in that iconic scene, it is the case of being the end of the film. I think that Supercell know that we will think this and feel that when we look at the image, and that is exactly what they want us to feel, but they will turn it around into a positive and show us that the brawlers are walking towards us, and maybe they've got new features, new skins, but they still look the same as we love and know, and that 5v5 is coming in the next update. Boom, perfection. That is what I think. So that brings us to the end of the Reddit thread. Some really interesting ideas, guys. Some things that I really like, some things that I disagree with, some things I absolutely agree with. But let me draw your attention to this next image, just in case you come across it and you freak out like I did. This was done by a good friend of mine called Matt. He's a great graphic designer. He's actually doing my entire rework of my overlays for YouTube. So look out for that coming soon. That is a huge drop that I'm letting you know about right now. My YouTube channel is going to be completely changed very, very soon in terms of the layouts and the overlays, that kind of thing. I've got a whole new branding coming soon, so look out for that. But this image is so good. I freaked out when I saw this, and that is something that just be aware of if you see it, because it's such a clever fake. You know, I thought that he'd like adjust the contrast and like put it through some kind of like spectrum analyzer thing and discovered some secret message in the sky. It's actually like, if you look closely there on the sides, it looks like it's matching the globe, countries around the world. It looks very, very convincing, but I would like to confirm, just so you guys know, it's actually a fake. Do not freak out like I did and make a fool of yourself. Like I said, I tried to actually like troll my Discord with it, and it didn't quite work. Some people had already seen this image and kind of like the game was up. But yeah, I think that what this says to me though is very interesting as well. And what this image says to me on the whole is that, you know, to me this image is definitely a tease for global. Now, that is very important, because if Supercell are teasing global, it means that they are anticipating that they are very close to global. I do not think that this is Supercell telling us they are scrapping Brawl Stars. I just do not buy it. I don't believe that they would announce it in this way. I smell a rat. I think that this was a very cleverly designed way of making us think that to create a talking point. You know, it is very much a case of, is this going global or is this game going to be scrapped? I do not think Supercell would announce it in this way if the game was being scrapped, which leads me to the next thing. Does this image tell us global is coming imminently? I do not think so. I do not think this image is telling us that global is coming in the week, in 2 weeks. I think it is a global tease, as well as some new features coming to the game, hopefully 5v5, hopefully some reskins. Now, if that's the case, and this is a global tease, Supercell know by doing this that they would have to back it up with something substantial in the near future. You know, in the near future, maybe Christmas time, that kind of thing. If that is all true, then it is huge, guys. It means that global is coming really, really soon, because it tells me that if they're not scrapping the game, that they are the furthest away they have ever been from scrapping the game, and global is coming soon. So in a way, this image, ironically to me, says, yeah, it's global. But I don't think soon. I think in the near future, guys. But I've got to hand it to Supercell. This was a really fantastic tease. Everyone is talking about it, discussing it, debating it, and that is a really, really cool thing to see in the community right now. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, head on down to the like button, grab it, smash it, and while you're at it, subscribe for more future content. Be sure to click notifications on. I will be replying to every comment in the first 30 minutes of a video going live. So if you want to be part of that notification squad, make sure you are smashing that bell. And until next time, guys, keep calm, game on, but most importantly, keep your brawls epic.